let's go in to the first topic of discussion, which is being an awakened individual, just being any individual, I suppose, but having this feeling of lacking motivation, being depressed, even though shit's coming, good shit is there, and why we are going through this. So firstly, and again, please, if you have your own experiences that you want to share with everybody today and with the world as this goes live, then please do so. Like I say, let's help each other out. So although this was and I'm just going to speak freely with you guys too. Although this was a post made by this gentleman, it is something that I actually was going through myself for a couple of weeks there. And one of the things that happens, or let's look at it from the bigger picture, right? Because a lot of the times we look at these things as if they are isolated incidents that, oh my gosh, we're just going through this within our own selves, and I don't know what's happening, it's a me thing. When really it is a we thing that is going on right now. And as the cycle of we, it doesn't just stop at we as in mankind. It is our celestial vessel. It is the oneness that we are and the cycles that we are going through. So there's a couple of things I want you to take into consideration. Okay? Depending on where you are in the world, we are currently in North America and in the Americas and so forth, in North America and very southern areas as well, we are in winter, right? Well, sorry, not really southern, but in North America and so forth, we are in the winter months. This is a natural cycle of rejuvenation, all right? What happens when you go into a natural cycle of rejuvenation? Well, you get tired, all right? When you are rejuvenating, not only do you get tired because your vessel and the whole cycle is telling you need to rest in this moment because there is healing going on. There is repair to damage that came through, not just from years and years and years ago, but even just from the last summer, right? And when we are still, right? When we are still, we need to shift our focus to places that are going to benefit us in the most, to the higher standard, right? However, what tends to happen is a lot of individuals forget that they are still a part of the cycle of the world, right? The cycle of the seasons, the cycle of the celestial vessel, the celestial body. And because of that, again, we push back and we fight against this natural status of rejuvenation. And I want you to think, what happens when you push yourself when you're tired? Well, you get pissed off. I definitely do. You get pissed off, you get more exhausted, it is more difficult to process information and energy as it comes through. And the more you get pissed off and the harder it is to process this, the more in a place of discontent, depression, or unease you feel. And not only that, but the way you view the world around you becomes very much so the same. So even though you know that good things are on the horizon, it's very difficult to feel it because, again, we are fighting against this natural process that is going through, right? So that's one thing to consider is your environment. Now, for those who live in the tropical places where the weather is always quite warm, where there's this mass abundance of sunshine and so forth, things that are going on, don't forget that you are also a part of the collective, the collective consciousness. And those of us who are going through this cycle, you're going to be feeling all of that energy at the same time, right? So just because you may live on a deserted island somewhere and in the South Pacific and it's beautiful and so forth, doesn't mean you ain't feeling the world go through this cycle, because like I said, we are all connected. Hey there, Gemma sweetie. Hi, Kelly, honey buddy. So there is that. Now, so as we are looking at it from the whole or the larger perspective, now let's bring it back into more of a personal look at what we can do and why we're feeling this. So that's the depression part anyway. So what is depression really when we look at it? Depression is a signal to yourself. Your heart is trying to tell you in this moment that what we are doing is not benefiting us, right? We are naturally beings, or we are beings that are naturally made of love and light. Now, what is light except for a very high vibrating energy, right? Depression, as we are high vibrating energies, I'll keep on track. What does that mean? Well, it means that we are constantly moving and wanting to move in a very fast, fluid direction, like the current of water that is flowing. And hey, if you add a little bit more water to that, well, that current's going to pick the fuck up, right? And you've got no choice but to flow with that. However, when we are as individuals getting so much energy in and we stop our flow, that's when the suppression and the depression is going to start to come in, right? So I want you to think like the first signs of it, the first signs of depression is when you are looking for something, looking for entertainment, looking for some sort of joy or some sort of distraction to get you away from your present moment in time. I did another live on this before. And again, this is my perspective, right? Just from my own, not only personal experiences, but my own introspection and observations of so many that I've helped along the path, right? So you start to look for things to entertain you in a way, such as Netflix or doing something, that may not be very beneficial, but we're just kind of like, yo, we're going to watch TV, or we're not going to move as much because we feel a little sluggish, right? Or we're going to dive ourselves into work instead, although we really don't enjoy it. Right? And then what happens is we're stopping our natural flow of energy, because really, when we get all of this energy in from these new moons, from these cycles, from these beautiful times in our life, it's meant to develop us. It's meant to grow, right? And every single moment that you are not putting your focus on growth whilst this is happening, it means that you are fighting against yourself, right? And the more you do that, the more it's going to just feel really, really shitty, all right? Now, here's the thing. Lack of motivation is then going to come in, right? Because as soon as depression starts to hit, we start to feel really just like, well, what do we want to do? And this tends to happen where we then go, oh my gosh, okay, well, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to give you my own experiences. When I got into this state, I was just like, what the frick am I feeling, right? Why? Because I know that there's nothing in my life that I am not in control of, and I thought, okay, well, you know what, I'm going to dive into lots of paintings. And this is why there is a full-on gallery in my home. But then sometimes I'll just sit at the canvas and I'll just be like, what the frick am I going to paint? All that energy, that excitement, like, okay, I'm going to paint, gone. Then I'll be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to wake up today, I'm going to go do some yoga. 5 minutes later, I don't feel like doing it anymore. I'm tired, or so forth. Next thing that's going to happen is I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to come on live and I'm going to do some videos, I'm going to do some videos, I'm going to do some lessons, I'm going to do everything like that. And then literally within 10 minutes, it's like, oh, I don't even know what to talk about. I don't even know what to say, And then the motivation just feels like it is stripped from you in that moment, or it did for me. So what do you do when you're in this moment? Well, what I did, or what I definitely suggest, is that you look at yourself and ask yourself this question. Perhaps the things that you are actually excited about doing and they lose their interest, or you lose your interest within them so quickly, is because you really don't actually want to do that. All right? This energy, like I said, is meant for growth, is meant for development. And many of us are putting the same energy that is to go towards our growth into the same cycles that we have been repeating for a long time. And then we don't find that we are satisfied. We don't find that we have motivation to keep doing it. And it then becomes a job or work to have to keep trying over and over and over again. So, with that being said, if you are lacking motivation in what it is you are choosing to do, maybe you ain't supposed to be doing that. Right? And this is the time when we literally are supposed to be expanding ourselves to find new things that we enjoy doing. Because if we don't do this and we stay in the cycle, even though I love painting, even though I love singing, I love going out for walks, I love doing yoga, but at the end of the day, if I'm lacking motivation to do it, that is a definite flag just coming out going, yo, do something else. Because this ain't it right now, Let's have a look at some of these questions here. Hey, Barbara, sweetheart, it's lovely to see you, honey bunny. Dwayne, hi everybody. Gemma, you say, I get depression with my period cycle. Ah, my goodness. Yeah, for for the ladies out there, when the menstruation hits, and I want to go back to the first thing that I mentioned when it comes to feeling depressed we find that we forget that there are cycles of rejuvenation. A woman's menstruation is a time of rejuvenation within our own cycle, within our own celestial body and vessel that we're working with at the moment. That is our own person. And it's a time when so much energy is being funneled from the rest of the workings of everything and going directly to your womb to rejuvenate and complete the cycle. And again, how many ladies, when we are on our cycle, will fight against that shit? And we're still going to go out and do the groceries, do the laundry. We're still going to go out to work. We're still going to go and we're going to see a lot of people. We're going to do a lot of shit. But the fact of the matter is, and then we get pissed the fuck off because our vessel is going, sit the fuck down. This is not the time for this. This is the time to just chill out, eat a bag of chips, have a cookie, and do nothing. Do a little introspection, if anything. But stop doing things, right, that you don't truly want to do. And you're going to find that your periods aren't going to be as intensely shitty when it comes to the depression, right? Let's have a look here. Lynn, you say, yes, period cycle has been so intense these days and very emotional. Yeah. Because again, like we say, Sweet Pea, it's just a matter of taking that step back. Appreciate what your vessel is doing during this 7 days, 3 days, or however long it happens for you. Appreciate that your vessel is like, yo, we're going through repair. We're going through rejuvenation. We're going through increasing functionality. We're going through healing. And when you see, Lynn, when you see another person, either another person, a kid, old, young, it doesn't matter who they are, but when you see them overworking themselves, the first thing you do is you're not like, oh my gosh, keep going. You need to pound that even harder. You need to work even harder, fight through it. Of course not. The first thing you say is you're like, yo, maybe you should rest a little bit, right? So I definitely recommend doing the same thing for yourself. And you really should find that it's not going to be as intensely up and down roller coaster emotional, snappy and so forth like that, right? Because you're like, yo, man, I'm cool. I understand my cycle. I appreciate my cycle and I know what's going on. Gemma, you say, I get like that with certain people. A lot of the time I lack motivation to talk or spend time with them. Gemma, man, is that not, again, your energy saying, yo, I ain't benefiting from this conversation. And that's perfectly cool. There ain't nothing wrong with still saying like, yo, I like you as an individual. I wish you well, but right this very moment, I don't got nothing to say. I got to do me. So peace out. Have a wonderful day. And I'll talk to you when I got something good to say. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Let's have a look here. Lynn, you say, I have been learning to listen to myself and allow myself to lie down and relax. Good. Because it does feel really good, you know. And also just appreciating that the toxicity levels of the shit that lots of people are not only eating, but inhaling and so forth, directly affects many of our reproductive cycles. So a lot of women have fibroids, endometriosis, cancers, and so forth that are going on in our womb. That have been directly to that, to by all, like, you know, the genetic modifications and shit like that, and the chemicals that are in there. It's not like they don't realize that this has an effect on fertility, and they still pump it out there. You know, the chemtrails, you're breathing in a lot of this shit, and literally, it causes a lot of distress in our wombs that we have to heal. And for men, it causes, you know, erectile dysfunction and infertility as well, low sperm counts, low sex drives, and thus they try to get dudes addicted to porn and so forth like that, or people addicted to porn, so that they can still continuously try going for this and not recognize when there's a problem. So anyway, before I get totally off course and off topic. Hey, Daniela, sweetheart, it's wonderful to see you. I'm glad that you're still awake, but please, there's always the replay, you know? Okay, so now going into this, the last little bit of this discussion here in regards to feeling depressed and the lack of the motivation. The hardest part during this is knowing that good things are still coming, right? Because throughout all of this, what we need to do is we need to still be aware of our internal vibration and what we are sending out to the universe at the same time. Because as we are getting these increases in, we are manifesting at crazy high rates, right? Or, like, you know, instant manifestation is only around the corner for many people. And with that being said, knowing that good things are coming, but still feeling depressed, still feeling lack of motivation. And this to, if you are ever worried that you're like, holy shit, what am I manifesting? Am I fucking up my manifestations? Are things going to be okay? And I tell you, this is literally a time that you really need to trust in yourself. Right? Trust in your all, trust in your heart, trust in literally who you are to the core of your being, right? And yeah, we may feel these types of ways, but if you have done that work where you're like, yo, I understand the cycle I'm going through at this very moment, and I'm going to do and take whatever steps that I can in order to rest and allow it to happen. Secondly, I'm lacking motivation because, you know what? Let me acknowledge that the things that I actually said that I wanted to do, I actually don't want to do them. There was something in the back of my head kind of pushing me towards that direction when really I didn't want to do that in the first place. Because yeah, sometimes you need to move and do that yoga, but you just can't be bothered to do it in that moment. It's because it's not the time, right? And then, of course, knowing that, yo, things are going to be good. So trust in yourself in that moment. Just be like, nah, you know what? I've done so much work prior to this moment. I have cleared out a lot of shit from my being, you know? And I know that things are going to be well. So trust that process and this transition, and know that, yeah, good things are going to be coming your way. Just trust that part.